Right, I'm just about to make the first gear blank, and the the blank diameter is 2.077, and I don't have any steel over 2 inches. But I do have some collars that I made some time ago, which are 60mm, which are large enough. So I'm going to make the blanks out of a couple of these, and I'm going to press a centre into them. So I'm going to turn this down to the inside diameter. Press that in and then make the gear blank out of this. The ID of these blanks is, and I've got 2 of these, now you'll excuse me, but I'm going to work in millimetres simply because I've done 20 years in millimetres, and it's about 30 years ago since at least 30 years, 40 years since New Zealand went to metric, and so even though I'm comfortable with inches and thousandths, I've been thinking in millimetres so long that it's difficult to go back. So the ID is 35.41, and I'm going to turn these to about an imperial about 4th hour over. So I want this about 4th hour over diameter. So I wanted about 0.1 of a millimetre over diameter. Right, so it's 0.45 millimetres over diameter, so we'll take off 0.15. Right, that's 4th hour over the bore diameter of my blank, so I'll continue with that. This smaller diameter here will give me a lead in for the press, and I'll press the blank onto about there, and then we'll part it off. Should just fit onto here, which it does. Right, so that's, and it'll press from there. Right, so let's take it to the hydraulic press and push that on. So this is a 6-ton press, which is not really very big, but good enough for what we're doing here. Right, that looks right. So, well, right, so we've got our centre pressed in, so I'll turn that spigot off, turn this down to the correct outside diameter, put a part it off, put a boss on one side, and we'll be good to go. That hole's less than a ½ inch, then we're okay. Don't have to get rid of it all. .1 it is. Okay. That's actually thick enough for the that diameter, that width there is thick enough for the gear blank and the boss, so I'll turn that right off to the face. Right, our boss here is 6.2 mils. 6.2, and it's 22 in diameter. part of the gear here is a bit of 1040, and that's free machining, I think, so that's why there's a difference in the sound being cut. For 6 there, and we've got 1.5. That's got to be 9. .4. .75. We've got a DRO here, so we might as well use it. Bring this down to diameter before we take it out of the jaws. We're looking for 2077. Is a polish. $53.81. Right, I'll just give that a just break the corner. 53, 76. $53.77. We're looking for $53.79, so that's fairly good, fairly close, should I say. Right, so we'll cut that, we'll part that off, turn it round, put the outside jaws in so that I can reference that face there. We'll face off the other side, and then we'll ream the 1/2 inch hole. Right, I cheated with the blank and cut it off in the power hacksaw rather than part it off, because I've got quite a bit of thickness to play with there. The original gear is 9.7 and I've got 10.5 thickness there, so we've got plenty to part off. I've put the reverse jaws on so that we can get we can register against that turned surface. So we'll bring this down to thickness and then bore the 1/2 inch hole in the same setting. I'm going to have to be careful here about my jaws and the tool, but I think we'll be fine. What I should do is measure that exactly so that I know how much to take off with the DRO. So we're looking for 9.6. So we've got 1.8 to remove. .7 to remove. So we'll write that down. Right, we've got plenty of space there for the jaws. And we now need to ream a 1/2 inch hole. clear? Yes, we are. And we'll do the other side as well. Right, so there we have a gear blank. I haven't broken that edge yet, but I'll do that once I put it on the mandrel before I start cutting the teeth. And we have a very nice ream finish inside there. In fact, it feels very nice.